Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story. It's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Go time! Hello, my friends, and welcome to our Daily Dish Show. And look at everybody who's shown up. We've got Sandy and Linda and Jackie in the house. We've got Jane, Alice, Jocelyn. It's Romper Room. I see friends near and far. So thank you, friends, for showing up. I appreciate that always. You know that. Margot, so good to see you. Deborah, Jeanette, Catherine. The ladies are in the house, y'all. We're going to have a good time. We are going to have a good time. You know, yesterday I told you my story of resilience and the practice really of resilience, because in my full heart, I believe that resilience is something that we learn. It doesn't just happen. Yeah, it is looking better, isn't it? The goose egg's completely gone, by the way. And it's just, this pink is all baby skin. And then there's a little scab there. And then you can see on my nose much better. This one's going to be a little bit harder. It's tender. But it is getting better and it is shrinking. You know, hey, we do what we have to do. I'm going to get this thing handled. So yesterday, as we talked about this whole idea of resilience, and we talked about, you know, the lessons of resilience and what it takes to get through, I also thought about how unproductive behavior oftentimes is the block to us becoming resilient, because we just think that, you know, well, I'm just unproductive. I just can't get it done or whatever. I'm going to explain more of that. Hi, April. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to explain more of that as we go, because I have some juicy tidbits for you today, I think. So I'm really glad you're here to celebrate this Tuesday with me. And Wednesday, of course, is Wise Women's Wednesday. And we're going to really dig deep into this unproductivity stuff. It's a big deal. You know, it truly is a big deal, because we so often get into the weeds with unproductivity and really put ourselves down, and really we're just all over ourselves like white on rice, and it's not helpful at all. So I kind of want to, let's open the kimono on this stuff and really discuss it, look at the science, and get to the place of flipping it. What do you think about that? Hello, Vicki. Good to see you. So anyway, we'll get to that in just a moment. Who was there last night for our Hot Melt 30 webinar? You can still go and watch the repeat if you want to. And we sent out a replay today. savingdinner.com/30. That's THIRTY. Because you know what's happening, right? On Thursday, I know, odd day to start, but it is the first of the month. On the first of the month of June, that's a Thursday, we start the Hot Melt 30. Now, the Hot Melt 30 is taking our Hot Melt Sprint principles and adding to it the heart, mind, body, and soul part. It's basically trying to convey that until we get into the place of lifestyle, that these sprints, well, they're just it's going to be off the rails on the sprint, off the rails on the sprint. And I just want to make sure that you understand that when we're off the rails, we miss out. When we're off the rails, we are skipping out on vibrancy, because everything is connected. And that's one of the other things about this whole Hot Melt 30 program, is that we get into the mindset piece to steal you into strength, to steal your will and your way and your drive, to create your community, to create the commitment. There's a lot to it. But if you go to savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY, it's going to explain the whole thing. Sandy knows it is a way of life for you. Flynn, it's a way of life for her. Tanya, it's a way of life for her. And, interestingly, they're all sporting incredible results, not just in fat loss off their bodies, but in their whole demeanor, heart, mind, body, and soul. Like I said, the whole woman needs to be addressed before we can deal with your butts. Okay? And I'm talking BUTTs. Hello, Chris and Sue. I'm so glad you're here. And Trisha was there too last night. Trisha, I was glad you're there too. All right, so we're going to deal with that. And savingdinner.com/30, spell that out. And also, don't forget too, when an off the rails kind of a situation happens, let's say you go out to dinner or something, and somebody orders an afternoon, you just, I'd really like to try that or whatever. Carb cutter, we keep it in the car, in my purse, and on the countertop, just in case. Both Mark and I think as we get older, it's just the way it is. We get really sensitive to carbohydrates and their impact. Impact means excess blood sugar. The impact means excess glycogen. The impact to that is stored as body fat around your belly. So forget about that. We don't want that. Hey, Patsy, I'm glad you're here. So if that's the case, this is what we do. And it's white kidney bean extract. And yeah, it works. Go check it out. You can go check it out at PubMed, by the way, if you want to know what white kidney bean extract does and how it basically makes it so that amylase doesn't break down and you digest it whole. It's pretty good stuff. But you can find out about it at savingdinner.com/show. If you buy 3, you will get the 4th one free. And that is a screaming deal, by the way. I would not be without this. Without it. Yeah, PubMed is so helpful, by the way. So helpful. You can find all kinds of stuff there. But, like any other research, too, you're going to always have bias. It's just the way it is, y'all. I have my biases. You do, too. But, what I'm seeing, the results that I'm getting in my own life from following those biases are obviously working. You're looking at my face right now. It's working. So we'll talk more about that another time if you're interested in. But there are so many things that we can do to recreate the change that we're looking for. Not recreate, but create the change that we're looking for, and also to kind of hack it and to speed up the results and get where it is that we want to go. I showed you how to crush cravings. I'm showing you how to watch out for all the carb situation. I'm showing you how, with our supplements, by the way, like Leptofix and Crave Crusher, how to hack your hunger hormones, because your hunger hormones can take you down. Just boom, just like that. That's what all of our supplements are about. Every supplement in our lineup has a story. And I'm convinced, I think I need to tell the stories about all of these supplements and why they came to be and why they're in our shop. I will do that at some point. I will. Also, the other thing you need to know is that our gratitude journals are on sale. Now, we have these things called the Optimistic Gratitude Journal, again, based on research and based on studies on shifting from not being so full of gratitude to having that become sort of the plumb line of your life. Because, again, we will have moments of gratitude, but do we live in gratitude? I will tell you absolutely everything that I know about gratitude, and that is this. When gratitude is a practice done daily, noticing things on a daily basis and becoming all of that, then your life slowly begins to change. You emerge out of this cocoon of depression, a different person. You see things differently. You're a noticer. You're more curious about life, and life tastes a little bit better, doesn't it? It's much sweeter. And this gratitude, basically, it is a journal that helps you to practice this gratitude. There are weekly things and monthly things. There's little, you'll see it. I will show and tell it for you probably tomorrow, because it's supposed to be in today. Got lots of orders for them, and we can't wait to get them all out for you. But before they all go out, I will show it to you. We have a few left. Most people, I couldn't believe how many we sold during Full Bloom on Saturday. By the way, if you want that, you can go get it. savingdinner.com/full bloom. You know, it's the recording, but so what? You will get that. Got that story for you. The other thing, besides the gratitude journal, savingdinner.com/grateful. That's where you're going to find that. Go take a look at it. It's beautiful. It was completely designed by our lovely Amber, and she did a tremendous job on it. The research, though, is what is the backbone of the whole thing, and I'm very proud of this new product that we're offering. We're also offering our new course that is starting on June 8th. Yes, Thursday, June 8th. It'll be Thursday nights for the next 6 weeks on starting June 8th, and it is going to be incredible. Because this whole thing, this whole crushing, limiting beliefs, this is a lot of what's holding us back. You know, we can be optimistic and have gratitude, but then we have all these beliefs about ourselves that are just off and wrong, and things get frustrating and things get stuck. This is an unstuckness situation. And that's what these 6 weeks are going to do. We'll have hot seats, the whole bit. You can find out all about it at savingdinner.com/no limits. Because guess what? You get rid of those crushing beliefs, those crushing, limiting beliefs that we all have, you will be limitless. That's what it's all about. Chris, you're right. It is all about the research. Because it shows us things that we don't usually see, you know? So line me up. Take me there. I want that. So we also have, I think this is such a good quote for as we're getting ready for the Hot Melt 30. If you want to reach your goals, shrink the size of your butt. B-U-T, just one T. Because we oftentimes dismiss ourselves, excuse ourselves, rationalize poor behavior with this but. And I always say too, if somebody says it offers you an apology and then adds a but to it, you can forget the first part of the sentence. You know, I'm sorry I did this, but you, that's no apology. That's rationalizing their poor behavior. That's a statement of what happened, and then I'm going to rationalize my poor behavior. An apology, a thorough apology, is I am so very sorry that I hurt your feelings. There's no reason for that, or something along those lines. It's a statement of a fact of what happened and how you feel about it. Contrition. So I could go on and on about that because haven't we all been there? Sure we have. Anyway, no more buts. Pinkies up on that. No more buts. Because it's time for us to stand up and be the women that we want to be. It's time for us to live in vibrancy. It's time for us to attain full bloomness. Amen? Because that's what it's all about. All right. So you've got all the, listen, I might have forgotten something. Wouldn't that be unusual? Go to savingdinner.com/announcements for everything that I forgot. It's all there. And we, you know, I will tell you, Jenny does a beautiful job. She updates this page. She puts the quote of the week on it. Everything's there. It's at your fingertips. And we do this on purpose. One, because we want to have everything there for you, for your convenience. And two, it's easy to forget about all this stuff, especially when we got a lot going on like we do. And then you can go back there, you know, because you're going to want to get your Hot Melt 30 kit. You're going to want to get into all of this stuff and be a part of your community. And I want you to. So check it out at savingdinner.com/announcements. And now that that's all out of the way, let's talk about the insanity of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. When it was the first time you ever heard that quote, and did it bowl you over or what? I remember hearing this, I don't know, I think I was in my 40s or something. It's been attributed to Albert Einstein, although they're not sure that it really was him. It's okay. I'm cool with that. You know, whatever. But I will tell you right now that when I thought about it, it was a wake-up call, because when we do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, we are seriously deluded. It's true. Why do we think that that's going to work? Why do we think that, for example, which I'm speaking from my own life, how many times have I purchased a diet book only to skip to the chapter 4 where the plan is and skip all the rest of the book. And then it never worked. Did for a minute and then it didn't. What was the deal? I can tell you all about the insanity surrounding that, but I will spare you the details because I think you've probably experienced this yourself. So we have to take a look at this because this sets us up for a series of unproductive ways of life, unproductive habits, unproductive time wasters, unproductive. And not that we are supposed to be on this hamster wheel of productivity and everything that we touch and do is supposed to be productive. But when we find ourselves in a place of being frustrated and just wishing things were different and trying to figure out what the heck is going on here and why is this such a mess, we need to take a look at what's going on. Because oftentimes with this kind of stuff, we often think we need to do more. When in reality, what it is that we're stuck in this sort of negative loop of always doing the things the same way. And I'll give you another example, that this happens. I see this all the time. And especially when I go to the gym, it just like annoys the living daylights out of me. I see women on the treadmill slogging it out for miles. Like they get on that and they're thinking, if I get on this treadmill and just walk and walk and walk and walk, that's going to produce all these results and all of that, especially postmenopausal women. It's not doing a damn thing for their bones, nor is it doing anything for really just a little bit, but not doing enough for their muscles so that we can protect those precious bones. I don't want any woman on my watch to fall. The statistics, 60 to 70% of women over the age of 65 who fall and break something will not walk again. And that is just an absolute jaw dropper. And not on my watch, by the way, not here, not with you all. I just want to say to you, let's get smart with how we treat our bodies. And let's get smart, right, Patsy? Exactly. HIIT training, by the way, high intensity. Yes, so unfortunately you don't know better. It's so true, Lynn. But high intensity interval training is just going hard for 30 seconds and then recovering for 2 minutes. That's, by the way, is all in the Hot Melt 30 guide. And it's a lifesaver because it's also time efficient. Instead of going for hours slogging it through on the treadmill, you get to do it for 20 minutes and just get it over and done with. Really good for you too. Talk about a workout. Your heart really appreciates it and you can do it, and sometimes you have to build up maybe from 5 seconds to 20 seconds, but whatever, you start where you are, right? There's no crime in starting from where you are ever. So unproductive habits and behaviors are deeply ingrained in most of us, and we have blind spots to them. And that's what I kind of want to talk about today, because our blind spots is basically filtered by the fact that we are frustrated and we can't figure, why can't I get anything done? Or what's going on with this? Or we see that we've just been busy all day and we're going, what do I have to show for it? That is what I'm talking about. And we all have these blind spots. We all do. So let's talk about a couple of things so that we can get this thing going on. Well, my goodness, Butterfly, hello. And Lynn's in the house as well. Glad to have you here. So I have, what's on my list? I've got 8 things. And these 8 things are juicy. And they're 8 things that I could all easily identify with. And I'm going to bet you can too. We are so connected. This community is so connected. We think a lot alike. We've been through a lot of the same things and we've all come out on the other side, right? But now it's time for a little feedback, a little getting into, the prickly places that we don't exactly want anybody to go walking in, and fix some of this stuff. Because if we're going to live our lives in vibrancy, in full bloom, then to be on that vibrant path requires us to dig into the stuff that we don't want to look at, which oftentimes is unproductive habits and behaviors that we are, shouldered with. Let's take a look at them. Number one is misunderstanding multitasking, because a lot of people think multitasking makes you efficient and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, getting things done all over the place until you're not. And then you have all these undone things. You got this over here and this over here and this over here. It doesn't work. And it doesn't work for work either, because we aren't made that way. Our brains don't operate at that kind of capacity and that kind of level. We will end up taking more time, really, than we need to when we think that we can multitask. Now, sometimes there are things that are multitask-ish that aren't. Like if you're clearing out clutter, the Fly Lady system, throw it away, donate it, and put it away somewhere else. You've got 3 boxes for that, right? And that is not multitasking. That is clearing clutter, and it's sorting. That's what that is. So that helped me a lot, because I was like, well, what's all this? Isn't this multitasking? No, it's not. Because if you went through the whole room and say, donate this, and then go out and take the stuff to the donation place and come back and say, okay, throw away all this, and then go out and throw it out in the trash can, and then came back and say, okay, now put all this stuff away. Think about, if you did those things one at a time, how long that's going to take you to get done. This is efficiency, is what this is. And it's making sure that you're taking care of one situation at a time. That's simple. And it works. But as far as multitasking, like at home, and, there's so many times that we've all walked out of the room and left something going, or burnt something on the stove, or overflowed a tub, or whatever, thinking that we could do more than one thing at a time. When in fact, the things that we need to do if we're going to multitask is get all of our appliances going at one time. That means you can have the dishwasher, you can have the washing machine, you can have the dryer, you can have the crock pot going, you can have the coffee maker going. Everything can be going all at one time. It's awesome. And the dryer, it's awesome. So sure, use your appliances. I call them your indentured servants, right? And I call them that because they do the work of one person while you don't. All you have to do is press buttons. It's that simple. So enjoy and appreciate and use your multitasking servants. But for you, take one thing at a time, because it will not only get you more efficient, it will stop the unproductivity, and it'll make you feel good about having a task completed instead of a bunch of stuff at the end of the day not done, right? Number 2 is an inaccurate time perception. Guilty. Anyone else besides me guilty about this? Oh, it'll just take me an hour. I don't need that much. Oh, I've got plenty of time to get that done. And then all of a sudden you look at the clock and you've got all these people coming over, or you've got something going on, and you think, holy crap, I better get on to it, or I'm going to be really in trouble. So what happens is, you know what this is called? There's an actual name for it, and it's called the planning fallacy. And you know what that does? It gives us missed deadlines at work. It gives us the opportunity to check the box of unmet expectations, and it sets us up for a whole lot of frustration, not just us, but the people who our lives touch when their deadlines don't get met, or when things don't happen, or when something goes awry. So that's really, really massively important, is to take a look at how much time does it really take. And one thing that you can do is, if you think it's an hour, double your time and give it 2 hours. And if you have extra time with that too, and just say, so it took you an hour and a half, take that 30 minutes, redeem it for yourself. Sit down and maybe have a little TV time, or write in your journal, or, have some knitting time, whatever it is that turns your key. But when we do this and we budget our time wisely, we get the rewards, and we get to, again, check the box. That's what we want to do. Number 3 is that we neglect to rest. Okay, do you remember that story? I think it could have been an Abraham Lincoln story, but or a Paul Bunyan story. It was something like that. And whoever it was that was chopping down the trees would stop and go and sharpen his axe, and the guy who he was chopping down the trees with took a look and said, you know what? This guy's a moron. He's taking all this time away and I'm chopping down all these trees. Well, at the end of the day, guess who chopped down the most trees? It was the guy who took the time to sharpen the axe. And for us, if we aren't sharpening our axe, if we're not getting in the self-care that we need, the rest that we need, the time that we need in order to just love ourselves up a little bit, we're going to burn out in a big, big way. Everybody's going to go down in flames, not just us. There will be voices raised. There will be frustration. There will be opportunities missed. It's pretty incredible what happens. And it puts us in this place of chronic overwork, chronic burnout, chronic everything. It impacts our health. It impacts our relationships. And it impacts everything that we do. So sharpen your axe, ladies. We have to sharpen our axes. Hi, Autumn. I'm glad you're here. Number 4, and you know this one, it's one of my most important ones, and that's setting clear goals. Oftentimes we don't get our goals straight, and we don't do our goals in a way that is, besides being smart, and you know the whole thing for that. Besides being smart, you also need to be in a place where you are setting goals that you believe in, that you are setting goals that and I don't like using the word realistic because I think it's really important to dream a little bit bigger than even where we can go. But I do like the idea of attainment of goals. And I do like the idea of saying, yeah, in 12 weeks, I can see myself X, Y, and Z. And that is, to me, is not only realistic, but it's a brilliant way to lighten your path to get to where it is that you want. And the way that we do goals around here is we do affirmation goals that are set with an intention, that are written down every single day in your journal, because that's how we impact our brains, rewrite pathways, new neural pathways, so that we are naturally on the path. Our reticular activating system is awake to what our goals are, and we are naturally attracting that into our lives. Isn't that brilliant? Of course it is. This is how we manifest the life that we want. We create it. And we do this with goals. We do this with smart kind of goals that we create. So if we're not setting goals, what's going to happen at the end of the week? Just a busy week with nothing to show for it? Or are you on track for hitting your goals? This is an important thing to ask because this is going to show you there's some unproductivity going on here. There's unwanted behavior and habits going on here. The other thing that we need to do is look at how resistant we are to change. This is a big deal. How many times have you said, I hate change? I can't even tell you how many times I've said that. How many times have you said, I just want things to stay the same? I don't like change. How many times? A lot of us have said that a lot. And when we do that, we find ourselves sticking with something, even though it's unproductive, even though it's not effective, even though it doesn't serve us anymore, like doing an exercise routine we used to do in our 20s, finding ourselves burning out and everything, but it was so effective then. I'm resistant to change. I don't want to change anything. I know this works. Doing Jane Fonda's, tape, sticking that in the thing, and then finding ourselves burned out and exhausted and tired knees and hurt hamstrings and all the rest of it. Come on, we have to look at this because the resistance to change can prevent you from adopting good, productive habits because resistance says no. Resistance puts up a barrier. Resistance has a big flashing red light that says stop. And if you're not getting the results that you want from the behavior and your habits that you have, then it's time for assessment. We got to get into there and take a look at that. That's like weeding your garden. What are you trying to grow here? What are you trying to produce? Certainly not a bunch of weeds, which I just pulled a bunch of them yesterday, And when you're pulling weeds and getting them all out and everything, this stays, that goes out. We're sorting continually. And it's up to us to be the sorters, If you want to wash your black socks with your white towels, that's on you. But I know what the end result's going to look like, and it's not going to be optimal, I know what I can do to get white fluffy towels. And I also know how I can keep my black socks black. So if we stay the course on this stuff and sort and look at these things from what works and what doesn't, there's a new eye that can be turned inward and give you the assessment that you need in order to change the things that need changing. Number 6 is not delegating. Unless you think, well, I don't own a company, Leanne. I'm not a boss or a manager at my business or whatever. If you're a mama and you're raising children, you need to be the ultimate delegator, because it's on you to coach your children so that when they leave that house, that they not only know how to do their own laundry and cook a simple meal and go shopping and figure out prices and budgeting and all of that, but it's also helping them to think. You are responsible for producing productive adults in this society. We don't need somebody else who doesn't know how to do something. We don't need a 15-year-old kid that doesn't know how to sweep a floor. I told you that story about this kid that couldn't sweep my floor, never swept a floor in his life at 15 years old. We don't need that, because then we have a bunch of entitled little, kids walking around thinking that the only thing that they want to do is be on their phone and talk to their friends. We need more than that. And as parents, this is up to us. We need to delegate. We need to show them, your 3-year-old can put, silverware in the dishwasher, give them the spoons, nothing to poke them with. They can do it. We all across the board need to be doing this at work. We need to be doing this at home. And we need to make sure that we are not running ourselves ragged and into a rut thinking we're the only ones who know how to do anything right. And when your little child goes and makes the bed, don't you go behind her and make the bed up for her the right way. And don't denigrate the way that she's made it when she's 5 years old. There's practice is the thing that teaches us how things should be. We don't need somebody shoulding all over us. That's you, mama. Don't do that. Love your child up and encourage them as they go. And if you are in a situation where you have employees and you have people that you work with, encourage them. Show them that, that you appreciate their best. And if they have done something wrong, just point it out and say, hey, how can we fix this for the next time? Kindness is needs to be the way that we do things, but we do have to assess things, and we do have to make sure things are getting done and trained and coached. Number 7 is ignoring your physical and mental health. I will tell you this. If you don't think it's all connected, then you haven't been listening. We don't have cars parked in our garage to stay parked in the garage, do we? We have cars that have gasoline, that's fuel, so that they can take us to where it is that we need to go. We get into our cars, we put on our seatbelts, and they take us to where we need to go. Here's the grocery store, here's the gym, here's the whatever else that we need to do. And when we ignore our cars and we instead of putting gas into our cars, we put in, water or sea salt or whatever else. Think of anything that you want to put in there. Well, it's fuel, right? Or some vegetables or some salad or whatever. It's fuel, right? Well, no, it's not the right fuel for your car. It's not. If you are going to be using an automobile, what are you going to do with that? You're going to maintain it. You're going to make sure the oil is changed. You're going to make sure that you have new windshield wiper blades on there so you can see when it gets rainy. You're going to make sure that your lights work in your car so you're safe. Your seatbelts work, and on it goes, not to mention all the stuff under the hood. What are you doing for yourself, right? What are you doing for yourself? Because how often is it that we take immaculate care of our cars, which can be replaced, by the way, and with our own bodies, we just shovel in anything. We're putting salad in those, salad in our car tank instead of gas. We need to be fueling ourselves with an anti-inflammatory diet because it will make us feel better. It will feed our mitochondria. It will feed our energy levels. It will make us feel better. Inflammation will flee. We need to hydrate correctly so that all of our internal organs are working, including our brains. Because if you read the research, everything is driven from hydration and nutrition. Everything. We need to be getting enough sleep because if we think that we can sleep when we're dead, we will end up in a grave about 15 years early. Night owls, listen. It's time to change that up, and it's time to start listening to your circadian clock. Between the hours of 10 p.m. and the hours of 2 a.m. is the best time for your body to get the healing that it needs. Your body naturally does that. Your body follows a clock, just like we do. Just like when you look at your phone and you say, okay, yeah, here it is, it's 1:45 or whatever. That is the same thing that your body is doing. And it's saying, okay, second shift, go take care of the healing. Go bind up her gut, and help that leaky gut get healed. Go work on her thyroid. Go help her skin get better. I always go to bed as I'm sleeping, I'm thinking to myself, my body knows exactly what it is to do. It's intuitive, it's smart, every little scrap of my DNA knows exactly what to do in order to stay healthy. I need to give it the fuel. I need to give it the sleep. I need to give it the hydration that it needs in order for it to do so. And when I don't do that, you're going to get the repercussions, right? There are consequences. And, this also affects your physical health. It also affects your mental health, by the way, because they've shown that type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's. So there is an impact that happens when we're not fueling our bodies correctly. And if you are pre-diabetic, diabetic, or whatever, the impact of everything that I'm saying has to hit in as a double whammy. Because that is your body yelling at you, let's fix this, let's get it together. Because you want your productivity to go up, it's going to. It's going to. Sandy says she's letting go of exercise programs that no longer serve her. That's brilliant. Of course you are. We have to. We have to because we can't do it the way we used to do it. We have to do it the way we are meant to do it now. I'll give you the last one, and it's a doozy. You know what it is? Avoiding feedback. Now hear me. Number one is oftentimes we think feedback is criticism. And it's not. It's feedback, right? And number two is we ask the wrong people for feedback. Don't do that. Ask the right people. Ask people that you respect, that you admire, that you trust. If your sister-in-law is just horrible to you, but she's got an opinion about everything and she seems to be like, an unregistered nutritionist, don't go to her for feedback on what you're eating and what your nutrition is about. Be selective on who you choose for feedback and make sure that the person that you're asking for feedback is free to give you their opinions and their feedback to you, even if it's something that you don't want to hear. Because I will tell you that the blind spots that we all have are because we're not willing to look. And if we ask for feedback, somebody is willing to look. And having that brought to the surface and have a big spotlight shone on it, it's going to be helpful if you're open to growing, if you're open to becoming more productive, if you're open to becoming vibrant, if you're really, truly open to be fully bloomed. That's how that works. All right. Tomorrow, we're going to get into the contrast on a lot of this stuff. And boy, will it blow your mind. So much good stuff. Sorry I went so late. I did not realize how long this has been. I appreciate all of you so much. I really do. Thanks for showing up and being a part of my life. It means the world to me. I will see you tomorrow for Wise Women's Wednesday. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today.
You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.